out of the LA frying pan and into the San Francisco fryer. One after another, the West Coast is throwing the best that the National League has to offer at the Phillies on this difficult road trip. The difference tonight is that one of the best in the league from the East Coast also takes the hill and does so from the visiting dugout. Cole Hamels and Madison Bumgarner headline the series opener by the Bay. From Southern California to Northern California, we get set for another tough matchup tonight for the Phillies. After Kershaw and Greinke, it's now Madison Bumgarner's turn for the San Francisco Giants. The Phillies haven't scored a run in 20 consecutive innings. They hope that changes tonight here in San Francisco. We're at the foot of McCovey Cove. Beautiful ballpark, beautiful night. It's the Phils and the Giants, game one of this three-game series. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis. Well, last year, Madison Bumgarner threw a combined 270 innings. People wondered, well, would he be tuckered out when the 2015 season began? Not so much. Now, the Phillies have faced him before, and you think he might be a little easier than the last two guys they saw.
You know me, Tom, I'm a very positive person. I would say out of Kershaw, Greinke, and Bumgarner, I would much rather face Madison Bumgarner. I know that sounds silly, but that's just the way I feel. I think he shows the ball a little bit more, and then you can recognize what he's thrown up there. You may think he has been worn down, but you take a look at the numbers between last year and this year, not so much.
Well, you look at the ERA, 3.34 this year. It's only 17 starts compared to 20 before the All-Star break last year. The batting average against is lower this season. Strikeouts are lower, but that's because the innings pitched are lower. The last time the Phillies faced Bumgarner early on, he seemed to lull them to sleep.
A lot of breaking balls early in that ball game, but the one thing the Phillies offense has to do, particularly the righties, is get him out of their kitchen. They have to just go up there and make sure they swing aggressively on pitches inside. Even if you're out in front, you hook him over the Giants dugout, that's not a problem. Get him out from the inside part of the plate. The Phillies were fortunate to get back in this ball game with Jeff Francoeur. Grand slam, as we see here. It's a good pitch to hit, and he took advantage of it.
Francoeur told us before the ball game that it's a little easier to see the ball from Madison Bumgarner compared to Clayton Kershaw. All right, on the flip side for the Phillies, Cole Hamels takes the baseball. Hamels' last time out was fantastic, but he got another no decision because the Phillies didn't score until extra innings.
Yeah, nothing new there. Cole Hamels, whatever reason, just does not get a whole lot of run support. But what I liked about his last outing against Atlanta was his fastball command. We know about his changeup. It is a devastating pitch, and it is his out pitch. The breaking ball's come a long way, we know that, but he was able to get ahead early in the count with his fastball to both sides of the plate. It was outstanding. He was able to elevate that fastball when he wanted. Overall, he was just outstanding.
Well, the Phils wound up winning this ball game in 10 innings. He was out. Part of the reason was because they couldn't score runs for him, and that's been a big storyline this year. 2.76 runs per game for Cole Hamels. That has obviously hampered his win-loss record. He's 5-6 with an ERA of 3.02. So they will try to get some runs for their left-hander tonight against the Giants left-hander. Each pitcher making his 18th start of the season. Hamels 5-6. Bumgarner, meanwhile, 8-5 on the year. Well, Cesar Hernandez is up in the leadoff spot again for the Phils. He's had a great run. When we return, Greg Murphy will sit down with the Phillies second baseman. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. One deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. By Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at ibx.com. Giants game one of this series. Madison Bumgarner wearing the sharp orange jersey here tonight on this Friday evening for baseball. Well, the Phillies obviously have had some success at the second base position since Cesar Hernandez has taken over. His numbers in June and July, 327 in 29 games, 10 RBIs. The most glaring number, obviously the hits per game, but also the stolen bases. He has been aggressive on the base paths. It's been nice to see, and he's batting leadoff here tonight. And he also, earlier today, had a chance to sit down with Greg Murphy.
All right, thanks very much, guys. Yes, here with Cesar Hernandez, and let's talk about your confidence level, because you've gotten a chance to play a lot this season on a regular basis. How important is that to your maturity process and your ability to feel comfortable at the plate?
Yeah, so when you play every day, you get more comfortable in the play. So that's what happened. I feel comfortable right now, so that's what I go to the play, relax.
When you know that you're going to be in the lineup every day, and you know you're going to see your name every day, and your manager has that confidence in you, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, that's really comfortable, because you know you can say that tomorrow's another day for another. If you don't get a base hit one day, you say, okay, tomorrow's another day. You know them in the lineup every day.
You've been getting on base a lot, and one of the things that we've noticed is that when you're on base, you've been stealing a lot of bases. You had one stolen base coming into this season. You have 12 already this year. What's your process? What are you thinking about when you're at first base?
Yeah, you know, I tried working with Juan Samuel, and everything started like a pitcher's time, the catcher's time, and the count for the hitting 1-2-2-2, some similar count for the steal. And when I got a chance to go, I go.
Green light all the time for you?
Yeah, green light all the time.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that because I like run.
There's been a lot of talk about your relationship with Chase Utley, and I know I've watched you guys sit and talk together. What has Chase been able to help you with? What's your relationship like with that?
Yeah, Chase has good play and good teammate, and a lot of experience in the big league, and they help you a lot. In a couple of years we play and see that when I play Chase, and sometimes I ask Chase, what do you think about that hitting you play? I need to play this side or that side, and they help you a lot.
One final question. Your relationship with Freddie Galvis, your shortstop, you've known him for a long, long time, many years. What's your relationship like with him, and then do you enjoy playing with him, obviously?
Yeah, so I played with him all my career, so like a brother. Yeah.
Well, that's the way it looks like when you guys are out there. Absolutely. Cesar, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Guys, we'll send it back upstairs to you.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. They're getting things ready here in San Francisco. The Phils and the Giants game one of this series. When we return, we're going to go to the Comcast Sportsnet studios before first pitch. warm-up tosses here at AT&T Park. Game 1 of this 3-game series. It's turned out to be a very comfortable night for baseball here in San Francisco. Bright sunshiny skies most of the day today. It's continued into the early evening. And as the Giants warm up, let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup for tonight's ball game, brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. It'll be Hernandez, Revere, and Franco, followed by Jeff Francoeur, Darren Ruff, and Carlos Ruiz. And the bottom third of Dominic Brown, Freddie Galvis, and Cole Hamels. And they will face the left-hander from Hudson, North Carolina, 8-5, an ERA of 3.34. The Giants have scored just 9 runs in Bumgarner's last 6 games. Sound familiar? Well, it should, because it's basically the same pace the Phillies have been on for Cole Hamels.
All too familiar. And Madison Bumgarner is a guy that they ride every 5th day. I mean, he is the man. We take a look at his scouting report. 91-94, slider, changing the curve. He has had good numbers against the Phillies, but I just have a feeling they're going to get to him tonight. I don't know, Tom. After the last 2 starts, I think they're going to get to him.
All right, well, Cesar Hernandez will start things off, and he bunts toward third. Duffy is up with it, throws on the run. It's a good idea. He just bunted it too hard, and Duffy was cheating in. So 1 away here in the top of the 1st inning. All right, Ben, take it away with our Nissan Keys to the Game.
Keys to the game, we just touched on a little bit. Support your ace. Cole Hamels, they just never get any run support for him, but tonight they have to get some runs. And watch it, Buster. Cannot let Buster Posey beat you. He is a special player, special hitter. They can't let him beat him.
All right, well, Ben Revere, he's hit in 8 consecutive games. A very good hitter lifetime against the Giants that he takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Ben was 4 for 12 in the series against the Dodgers. Overall, he has 5 hits on this road trip. Duffy's in on the grass at third. Now that pitch is a bit high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. There is Buster Posey. Comes into tonight's ball game without an error behind the plate, and only 3 pass balls. Inside and low, 3 inside corner, excuse me. I thought the other pitch was better than that one.
I did too.
So 2-1 to Revere. You see his numbers this season. Out toward left field, and Maxwell was playing that way. He sprints toward the seats, and it's out of play. So it's even 2-2. The Rocky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Mark Oman of Maple Shade. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and Mark will win $300. It makes sense that the Phillies are giving away $300 cash because they haven't scored a run in 20 innings.
Good luck, Mark.
Here's the 2-2 pitch in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And this is one of the toughest places to go deep in.
Yeah, you were talking about that today. You know, it's only 309 down the right field line. But, you know, for some guys, the way the wind blows from time to time, it's tough to get it out of the yard.
Well, it gets cold at night. We'll see that later on. And it just seems like the wind always blows. That fog rolls in.
Revere hits it down the left field line. This one's probably going to stay in play for Maxwell, but he can't get there. Boy, it looked like the wind knocked that one away from Justin Maxwell. Although the flags don't really dictate that right now.
No, they don't.
Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box.
See.
Talked to Ben today. I said, how's the hamstring feeling? He said it's feeling much better. He said he still probably needs the 4-day All-Star break to get his wheels back to where they need to be. Fat Boy had a little trouble with that, didn't he?
Poor little guy. He came flying out of that dugout.
He came flying out. A little positive reinforcement as he enters the Giants dugout again.
Probably a little wet around home plate as they always water the dirt. Probably some got on the grass.
Outside, ball 4, and Revere draws a walk. So a 1-out free pass for Ben Revere. Well, here he comes. Take a look, and he's okay, everybody, just so you know. Whoop!
Got him, coach.
Tim Timmons was right there to make sure that he was okay.
Well, the fans are very respectful, gave him a round of applause. The Giants on the bench all applauded for him, so not to make him feel too bad.
Ben Revere almost fell over thinking, what the heck? Maikel Franco's the hitter. Franco hitting .291 with 10 homers and 34 runs batted in.
Tell you what, that was a nice 8-pitch at bat by Ben Revere. You have the first pitch bunted by Cesar Hernandez for an out, and then Bumgarner has to throw 8 more pitches and works a walk. Very good AB by Ben.
Outside, 1-1. Boy, they really wet down the infield here. I was just thinking about whether Revere would try to run against Posey, and Posey's been very good throwing guys out. Only 21 base runners have attempted to steal on him. He's 9 for 21 throwing them out.
It's a very accurate throw. It doesn't have the most powerful arm, but very accurate.
Out toward right center field, and Hunter Pence toward the sunshine makes the catch. And there are 2 outs. Now, Bumgarner has not allowed a stolen base this year. He's got a little bit of a slide step, and he's pretty quick to the plate, too.
He is quick to the plate. He is left-handed, and it's damp out there right now. And they, like you said, they do water it down quite extensively. And I don't know how much footing there is out there now for Ben.
I would think a base runner would prefer it to be a little drier.
A little drier, absolutely.
Well, here's Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur 2 for 3 lifetime against Bumgarner. A grand slam, and he gets under that one. Shallow right center field. Panic dances out, says he has it, and makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left for the Phillies. On to the bottom of the first. Phillies nothing. Giants coming up. Here in San Francisco, as Cole Hamels is warming up, let's take a look at the Giants starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Pagan, Panic, and Duffy, followed by Buster Posey, Hunter Pence, and Brandon Crawford. In the bottom third are Brandon Belt, Justin Maxwell, and Madison Bumgarner. And they will deal with left-hander Cole Hamels. 6-3 lifetime against the Giants, an earned run average of 3.55 on the year. Well, he's been teetering with an ERA of 3.02. He's gone under 3. He's gone back over, back and forth he goes. He's had a pretty solid first half. He just hasn't been given the support to get the wins.
And that's been the story over the last couple of years. He will sit around 92. I think he'll get up to about 95 tonight. Curveball's come a long way. We know about his changeup. Decent numbers against the Giants. Career 6-3 with a 3.55 ERA.
89 strikeouts and 101 in the third. And the first batter he'll face is Angel Pagan. Pagan is 1 for his last 13. His average at .261 with no home runs. Had a terrible on base percentage for a leadoff hitter. Up high, 2-0. He has walked a grand total of 2 times. On base percentage at .297. Does have good numbers against Hamels, though. He has 12 hits and 40 at bats. outside with a changeup, and it's 3-1.
Angel, one of the Giants taking early batting practice today off a machine. He's about 40 feet away, throwing about 100.
And he lines that one out toward right field. That'll drop in front of Dominic Brown. So leadoff single for Angel Pagan. So he's aboard to start the bottom of the first. Joe Panik's coming up. He has 95 hits on the year. He is the subject of our Geico quote of the day. Bruce Bochy talking about his all-star selection. The numbers speak for themselves. This is not a case where I'm just taking my guy to take him. He should be there. He needs to be there with the first half he's had. Well, it has been a solid first half, and it was a very solid end of the 2014 season for Panik. I mean, if you just look at his numbers alone against the Phillies, he doesn't struggle. Hitting well over 400 in limited at bats against the Phils.
I like his approach in the fact that he's very quiet. There's not a whole lot of movement there, and you know me, I like quiet at home plate. And you'll see there's just not a whole lot of movement.
And he lines that one back through the middle, a base hit. Well, quickly 2 hits for the struggling Giants offense. And they have runners on first and second for Matt Duffy.
Pitch is elevated out over the plate. Panik knows what to do with it. Doesn't try and pull it. You see there, just gets that foot down very, very early. Really doesn't even stride. Just picks it up and puts it right back down. Laces it to center.
So the Giants are threatening here in the bottom of the first. And Matt Duffy, who was 3 for his last 24, had 1 hit in the series against the Mets. Giants at the start of the year had Casey McGee as their third baseman, but that didn't work out for Bruce Bochy's team. McGee is actually back in Miami with the Marlins, and Duffy's kind of taken over. He has started 20 of the last 21 games over at third base and has done a very nice job. Heck, when the Phillies saw the Giants, he had 5 hits and 12 at bats in that series.
Giants, another one of those teams. They just seem to find guys that Bruce Bochy plugs in that lineup and they produce, much like the Cardinals.
Just got a piece of that change up, and it's 0-2. Giants had 2 hits and 11 at bats with runners in scoring position in the series against the Mets. Overall, though, for the season, they're better than 280 with runners in scoring position. Part of the reason why they've been in the mix in the National League West. Although, you know what? The Arizona Diamondbacks have caught the Giants. They are percentage points ahead of them right now, even though both have 500 records. Diamondbacks are 42 and 42. The Giants are 43 and 43. So they're tied for the number 2 spot. The Arizona Diamondbacks, Ben Davis.
Who'd have thunk it? It is something.
Well, since June 1st, the Giants are 13 and 21. And the Diamondbacks are 19 and 16. With an ERA over 4. So there you go. That's the division for the West right there. So the Dodgers up top. And next the Giants. They have to put them ahead of the Diamondbacks here in San Francisco. Fly ball foul, and it remains 1-2.
I just think getting Hunter Pence back in this lineup every day, and Murph will touch on this later, it's just, it helps this lineup so much. Because he can hit for average, he can hit for power. We know what he does in right field, the energy that he brings to the ball club. Ball player.
Using lizard skin on his bat.
That's right. Everyone's doing it, Tom.
Yeah, I know. A little tapper, and he stays alive. Well, this is not going to help Cole Hamels' pitch count.
Can he just roll one over to shortstop already?
Out toward left center field. This is going to be a tough play. It's going to drop in front of Francoeur. 3 straight hits for the Giants, and they've got the bases loaded and nobody out for Buster Posey and then Hunter Pence. Well, certainly not the start that Pete Buchanan, Cole Hamels anticipated against the Giants.
That's one heck of an at-bat by Matt Duffy. I tell you, he saw every pitch that Cole Hamels had. Goes down and gets this changeup down and away. It's a big outfield. And there's nothing Jeff Francoeur could do to get to this ball. It does keep the double play. You're still 1-2 pitches away from getting out of this. I know you got a tough customer in Buster Posey, but we'll see.
Battling a sore right hamstring. Posey didn't play the last couple of days. And he grounds one toward third. Franco's got it. They'll go around the horn. There's one. Cesar has trouble, but it's dug out by Darren Ruff. So they turn the double play. A run scores. Now the Giants take a 1-0 lead. Did they have a chance to go home to first on that?
Yes, because who's running? Buster Posey. And I know Pagan can run a little bit, but it's really not a question. You saw Cesar Hernandez really struggle to get this ball out of his glove. If he comes home here, he's got him dead to rights at home plate. That's an easy 5-2-3 double play. Cesar, without having really much of a chance to get the ball out of his glove, still gets Buster by plenty of time.
Well, the Phillies do get the double play. There are 2 outs and a runner at third. Here's Hunter Pence. And he tries to hold up on the first pitch. No swings, as the first base umpire Todd Tishner. How does he hold up on those? I just don't know how he does it.
Strong.
291 average, 2 home runs. He's missed 30 games because of tendonitis in his wrist. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
He fractured forearm in spring training after getting hit by a pitch.
They're going to be very careful with Hunter Pence, even though Brandon Crawford's had a solid year. Crawford's been struggling. He's in the on-deck circle. See Pence's career numbers with the Phillies. 2011, 2012. When he fouls it back, it's 2-2.
Well, it looks like he's filled out a little bit since coming over here.
He's in tremendous shape. He really is. He's in tremendous shape. And I'll tell you, we'd say this all the time, but he was great to have on the Phillies. Swing and a miss. He goes fishing. Now he'll do that from time to time, but still. And Hamels strikes him out, so the Giants settle for 1, even though they had bases loaded and nobody out. We'll go to the second. Phillies trail at 1-0. Resorts and Spas, a free magnetic photo frame for all fans. Come out early. Access to the field begins at 5:05 on Saturday, July 18th. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Darren Ruff will lead it off here in the second. Phillies trail at 1-0. Ruff hitting .228, 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. He is 2 for 7 lifetime against Madison Bumgarner. 0-2. Well, you know the number by now. The Phillies scoreless stretch is at 21 straight innings. They had a 24-inning scoreless streak earlier this season, June 13th through the 16th. Oh. And that ball got a piece of Darren Ruff. So he's aboard, second base runner for the Phils tonight. Well, Cole Hamels in between innings was very upset as he went back to the dugout, probably about the pitches he threw to the first 3 hitters. But then he also, it looked like he was questioning why Franco did not come home like we talked about.
That's exactly what he's talking about, is why he didn't go home. And, you know, Larry Bow is the right guy to ask about it, him being, you know, running the infield. And again, this is a play knowing your runner. You know, you can go home. Pagan's not even 3/4 of the way or halfway to home plate yet. Cesar can't get it out of his glove and still gets him by a couple strides. That's the right play to go home in that situation. They're taught to go around the horn, yes.
Absolutely.
But not in that situation, not with that runner.
Carlos takes on the outside corner. It's 0-1. And the concern a lot of times is, will the catcher get blown up at the plate, you know, and then he won't be able to make that throw. But you pointed out, and it's true, Pagan was maybe 1/3 of the way down the line. They would have gotten the throw there, and Ruiz would have gotten it cleanly over to first.
Yeah, that would not have been an issue. So I don't fault Cole for. Listen, teammates have not altercations, but disagreements all the time. Spend more time with your teammates than you do with your family throughout the 7.5 months they're together. It's going to happen.
1-2 now to Ruiz. Carlos hitting .227 with a home run and 15 runs batted in. Carlos was 2 for 6 against the Dodgers in the most recent series, that 4-game set. Inside, 2-2.
That's got to be so frustrating for a pitcher. 0-2 and hit a batter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
It's the 3rd time we've seen that, by the way, on the series.
Yes,
on this road trip.
You're right.
Carlos hits it through the hole on the right side, of base hit. Ruff will stop at second, and the Phils have the first 2 batters aboard here in the 2nd inning.
This infield is so slow. You know, coming from one of the fastest infields at Dodger Stadium, this infield, I mean, this is, you know, Panic's not even close to this ball. It just hits this grass and hits the wet dirt. He almost gets to this. You know, it came off the bat a lot more crisp than what it showed on camera there.
I have to admit, walking on it today, it didn't seem that slow, but you're right. It is slow.
It is.
Let's see if the Phillies can capitalize. They have 2 on with nobody out. Dominic Brown hitting under 200 for the season. And he swings at the first pitch. Shallow left field. Justin Maxwell comes running in. Well, the Phillies, or one of the hottest hitters the Phillies have, Freddie Galvis, will now be the hitter. Galvis batting 8th. He has 17 hits since the end of June, which is tops in Major League Baseball. His average is up to 276. Had a play over the first base dugout.
You can see what the game plan is against Madison Bumgarner. Attack.
Yeah, we wonder sometimes about certain game plans. I think that has to be the game plan against Bumgarner.
I don't want this guy getting ahead of me.
No, particularly with 2 strikes. You talked about in the open about the pitches that he has.
Because he is a guy that can go east-west with 3 different pitches.
Just a bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got him. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. First strikeout for Bumgarner. And the runner's still at first and second. Tomorrow at 4, catch Jillian Mealy at the beach. Plus meet new Sixers forward and South Jersey native and rider Bronx former basketball player Jason Thompson. Watch an encore edition of Breakfast on Broad Saturday afternoon at 4 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Hemmels waves at the first one. Hemmels hitting $118 this year. As good as Cole is as a hitter, look at the column to the right. No ribbies for Cole this season.
He takes a lot of pride in his hitting. Conversely, Madison Bumgarner, be careful. Man can swing it.
That one's out toward right field. Hunter Pence coming over, and he makes the stumbling catch, and the side is retired. Well, it's the hardest ball the Phillies have hit here tonight. They leave a couple. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It's the Giants 1, Phillies nothing. As we go to the bottom of the second inning. So the Phils had the first 2 runners aboard to start the top of the second, but could not score. And all right, Murph, we've talked about this during the last, I think, 3 or 4 years of Cole Hamels pitching in Philadelphia. Not getting a whole lot of run support.
No, not getting a whole lot of run support, Tom. You are exactly right. How about 6 runs in his last 7 starts? That's just that's not going to get it done. And you're right. It's been something that the Phillies and Cole Hamels have been dealing with, not just this season, but over the last couple of years. But this season, well, right there among the top in all of baseball, or I should say in the National League, in terms of run support. Aaron Harang gets just 2.65, and there you see Cole Hamels at 2.76. So the 3rd worst support for a starting pitcher in the National League. That is Cole Hamels, and you know it's innings like you just saw, the innings that they get the first 2 guys on, unable to push someone across, and it's been symptomatic for the Phillies, not just when Cole's on the mound, but it certainly feels like every time he's on the mound they experience that.
Yeah, and you take a look at some of his numbers during his career. As Crawford lifts one out toward right field, Dominic Brown started in, but he's able to get back, and he makes the catch, so 1 away. You look at his numbers during his career. Of the 292 games that Cole Hamels has started, now this is number 293, the Phillies have scored 2 runs or less in 92 of those games. So 92 of the 293 he has started, they have scored 2 runs or less. Now I don't know where that matches up against everybody else in baseball, but that sounds like a lot of games where they only scored 2 runs or less.
Well, it sounds like a lot because it is a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, again, in a ballpark where you can score some runs. You could do some damage at CBP.
It's almost a third of his games they've scored 2 runs or less. Now, and this could be said for a lot of pitchers, if you score 3 runs or more for Hamels during his career, is that what is dribbled foul by Brandon Belt? He's 102 wins and 27 losses. I mean, you get him 3 runs or more, 102 and 27.
That's.
If you get him 3 runs, between 3 and 5 runs, he's 48 and 25. So 54 and 2 when you give him 6 runs or more. Inside, and then it's 1 and 2. Belt said it hit him, but home plate umpire Tim Timmons says And now Bruce Bochy, Ben Davis's favorite manager of all time, is going to come up the stairs and may ask for this to be reviewed, depending on what Ron Wotus tells him.
Well, it didn't hit him. If anything, it nicked his uniform.
Right. Right. Still counts, though.
It still counts.
All right, take a look. I don't know if you can see it here. I don't think it hit him. I don't think it nicked his uniform. I don't think it hit him. Yeah, that didn't hit him. .95 on that fastball, and it remains 1 and 2.
I think Cole's a little agitated right now.
Well, and it could be twofold for him. I mean, he could be agitated. They gave up 3 straight hits to start the bottom of the first. I mean, that's part of it too. You can't get past that. Inside, 2 and 2.
Yeah, but you have to still tell yourself, you know what? I got out of that bases loaded jam
1 run
with 4, 5, 6 up and only got 1 run. So you have to be happy about that fact at least.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets have given the Giants a little breathing room in the West. They defeated the Diamondbacks 4-2. Lucas Duda, who's really been struggling. A 3-run home run for New York. Outside ball 4, so he loses him after getting ahead. Walk number 1 issued by Hamels. And Justin Maxwell will be the batter.
Yeah, 0-2 to a walk.
That Giants, or excuse me, that Diamondbacks Mets game, Noah Syndergaard had 13 strikeouts for New York.
Thor.
Maxwell takes down and away 1-0. Justin Maxwell hitting .202 with 6 home runs and 21 runs batted in.
Now Murph and I were having supper tonight, and that game was on, and we were watching. I said, "Look, Murph," I said, "Thor's pitching." He goes, "You know, he was a mythical creature."
Murph, thanks for laying that out to him. Although I saw the Avengers the other night, he didn't look mythical.
I really think Ben thought he was a real person. I just had to set that. I had to set it straight.
Yeah, he was pitching for the Mets. He is real.
It's hard to pitch with that big hammer in your pocket.
Their young staff, though, boy, oof. If they can find even a little bit of offense, they're going to be tough for anybody to deal with. I mean, the Nationals are kind of leaving the door open, 2.5 games ahead of the Mets in the division. Speaking of the Nationals, it's now a 2-game lead because the Orioles have defeated the Nationals 3-2. Walk-off home run for the Orioles. Jonathan Scope hit the walk-off home run. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Maxwell. There's Bumgarner. As Ben said, you can't take him lightly if he's up the way he swings the bat. Maxwell lays off, and it's a strike. 3-2. I don't like Tim Timmons' strike call. There's not a lot of personality.
No,
it's a little slow. Come on, Timmy, spice it up.
He's a veteran. He's not going to change now.
Had a play off to the right. Tim Timmons is the home plate umpire. Todd Tishner's at first. Gabe Morales is at second, and the veteran Dana DeMuth is stretching over at third. High chopper toward third. They're going to have to hurry. Franco has it, throws off his front leg, not in time. Well, a close play. I guess you could say that's a swinging bunt to a certain extent. Maxwell does still run well.
Best thing that happens for him is that it goes off the plate.
Yeah.
The ball spends a lot of time in the air. Nothing else Michael could do. It's a great play. Got Rivett quickly. Makes a good crisp throw to Darren Ruff at first base. Maxwell just beats it out.
So no challenge by the Phillies. They just saw the same replay that you saw back home, where he was on the bag before the ball arrived. Now, Madison Bumgarner has 8 career home runs. 2 of those home runs have come this year. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. He had 2 grand slams last season. Some pitchers would be bunting in this spot. I don't think he's bunting. And he takes low. It's 1-0.
Well, he got Clayton Kershaw earlier this year, and that was the first home run Clayton Kershaw has ever given up to an opposing pitcher.
Goes around on a 93-mile-an-hour 2-seamer. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
See Madison taking a look down at Roberto Kelly down at third base. It may change now that he has a strike on him, but I doubt it. I
don't know. I think they have a 1-0 lead. They'll let him just go.
Well, he's back in the box. Usually guys scoot up in the box if they're bunting.
Well, Hamels is not sharp here in these first couple of innings. That changes from time to time with him.
It's like he's having a tough time finding his release point.
Threw him a good pitch there. Change up, and it's 2-2. We have not seen a curveball. We've only seen 1 curveball so far tonight.
And change up there. It was down. Would have been ball 3.
Got him with I guess that was a cutter.
That was a cutter there at 90.
Second strikeout for Hamels. Well, if you want to join the Phillies on an upcoming road trip, then mark it down. August 6th through the 10th, the Phillies go to San Diego. 4 nights accommodations, brunch with us broadcasters, tour of Petco Park, tickets for all 3 games at San Diego, plus a custom Phillies road trip polo shirt. Go to Phillies.com/Phillies vacations for more information. I think the brunch with the broadcasters is now on a yacht. Are you on the trip?
I am on that trip.
Are you going to be? Is it brunch with you?
I don't know.
Murph, is it brunch with you, Scott and Larry, or is it Ben, Scott and Larry?
I think it's Scott, Larry, and I.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I know I'm doing it.
You're going to go on a boat.
I am.
Yeah.
I didn't get an email about the change of venue, so I would assume I'm not on it.
Okay. In case anybody asks, there's a change of venue, Ben.
Don't forget your Dramamine, Murph.
Yeah, that would not be good.
No balls, 1 strike to Pagan. He's out front of that. And that's out of play.
Murph, do you think they'll let our good friend Tom McCarthy skipper the boat since he does have his captain's license?
That's right.
Put it this way, if he does, then you can go on the boat and I'll stay back on land. No offense, Tom.
I don't know if I should say none taken or not. Docking's the only thing that I have problems with. I don't have problems getting out of the open water. The ball's 2 strikes to Pagan. Singleton scored his first time up. And a strike 3 call. So Hamels gets back-to-back strikeouts and gets out of trouble here in the second. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. On to the third. Now that would be a tough one to captain. Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Ben, here we go. Which Giant hit the game-winning home run in the 18th inning of Game 2 of the 2014 NLDS at Washington? Answer will be revealed in just a little bit.
I believe he's playing this evening.
You are correct that he is playing this evening. Cesar Hernandez takes strike 1. Cesar, first time up, tried to bunt his way on against Bumgarner, who's allowed 1 hit. And it was retired by Duffy, who's now creeping in more at third. Bumgarner is representing the Giants this Tuesday in the All-Star game. It's his 3rd All-Star selection. And Hernandez is down on strikes. Boy, Cesar just does not look as comfortable as he did, and that happens with hitters, but as he did for a few weeks.
Elevated fastball here. Cesar cannot catch up. That was a pretty good pitch. That may have been close to being a called strike at the top of the zone.
Well, he's 0 for his last 11, Ben, and in those 11 at-bats, a lot of strikeouts.
Kershaw, Greinke, Bumgarner.
Revere walked his first time up, an 8-pitch at bat, takes strike 1. It's 0-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. That walk for Revere was his 19th this season. That's 6 more than he had in 151 games last year. Fouls it back. His on-base percentage currently is 10 points better than it was last year at the end of the season. But his batting average is 13 points lighter. So if he continues to get his batting average up, you'll see that on base percentage because he's already passed his walk total rise a little bit. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to him. Curved ball. He slaps it the other way. A base hit. It's a really nice job just sitting there and waiting and punching it. Time to take a look at our T-Mobile Game Changer. And tonight's Game Changer is the active career leaders in ERA. Bumgarner is at 3.09. Kershaw, we talked about that when we were in Los Angeles. At the top of that list, 2.51. Chris Sale's going to make himself a lot of money in this game if he hasn't already. We don't see him that often, but man, oh man, is he good.
It's hard to believe that the White Sox are so poor.
Yeah.
You know, having Samardzija and Sale in the same rotation, they could be as formidable 1-2 punch as anybody.
I think they're going to trade Samardzija.
I do too.
I don't think they'll ever trade Sale unless somebody blows him away with something. Outside and high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Franco fly to right his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Runner goes, pitch is swung out and missed. Posey hesitates, then finally lets it go. Thankfully, Ben wasn't totally deked on that. Stolen base number 21 for Ben Revere.
It was a hit and run. That's why you see Maikel Franco swing at this pitch. It's down and in. He thought about it for a quick minute.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
See Maikel just trying to get the bat on the ball somehow. I haven't seen that deke play work in a long time.
Well, you almost saw it work there, Ben. That wouldn't have been pretty. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, says the first base umpire Todd Tishner. Franco can't believe it. 3rd strikeout for Bumgarner, and there are 2 outs. Take a look, see what you think.
Well, he went.
Yeah, he did.
I thought it went. Watching that live, you know me, Tom, I'm not very good at those, but I thought he did go.
Francoeur popped out to shallow right center field his first time up. Joe Panik took care of him. It was great talking to Francoeur today about facing Bumgarner, and you know, if he's easier than facing Kershaw. And he said, well, yeah, because the same stuff you talked about, Ben. The ball, he shows the ball a little quicker than Bumgarner does. You just have to pick it up, or than Kershaw does. He said the thing about Kershaw is that when he comes to the plate, it's almost as if the ball is coming out of his hat, whereas Bumgarner, the ball's coming out extended.
It is extended. It's really a crossfire because he throws so far across his body.
But to see him show the ball coming out of Kershaw's hat, Murph and I were down there. I mean, he basically put his hand on top of his head and then did a little bit of a signal of the ball releasing from his hands.
Yep. And he said that's what I discussed the other night, that slide step. He says he just jumps at you, and you as a hitter feel you have to jump at him.
He went after a high fastball, and it's 2-1.
But it's weird to hear a hitter say, you know, after the night before going, you know, home run and double, 3 RBIs, to saying, you know what, I've never felt more helpless than I did against Clayton Kershaw. Now you see him showing the baseball. He will. I mean, it's a crossfire, but he does get that arm extended. You can pick it up.
Chopper slowly hit towards short. Crawford comes in. And the Phillies are retired here in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. Phillies have left 4 so far through their first 3 innings. It'll be Panik to lead things off when we return. Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com today. Dangle Hat has made its way to San Francisco. We usually see 1, 2, or maybe 20, depending on the city that we're in. But here in San Francisco, it kind of keeps you a little warm because it's a cool night. Temperatures are in the 60s. Here's Joe Panik to lead things off. Panik singled his first time up. And he takes on the inside corner 0-1.
Love to see a 10, 11, 12 pitch inning right here out of Cole. Get that pitch count down a little bit.
Over to the right side, Hernandez charges, and he flips underhand, one away.
That will help.
That will help. Sunday, July 19th, when the Phillies take on the Miami Marlins. They'll wrap up that series against the Marlins. It's Pennsylvania Auto Theft Prevention Authority travel mug. Free to fans 15 and older. As always, you can go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets for any of the Phillies games coming up. Have you put your Coca-Cola in that travel mug? Or your coffee?
Definitely coffee.
Matt Duffy singled his first time up. That was an extended at bat. Chops one over the head of Hamels. Hernandez is there. 2 outs. Well, that's going to help also.
Apparently, Cole is listening to this broadcast, Tom.
2 away. Buster Posey's coming up. Reds and Marlins have gone final. The Reds shut him out 1-0. Mike Leake had 10 strikeouts in that ball game. Whoa. I could not captain that. Nope. Posey takes a strike. It's 0-1. I'd be so fearful that that sailboat would just go right into the water.
May have been the first breaking ball that Cole. Second one?
He threw one in the first inning.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't a real looping breaking ball. That one is through the hole on the right side. A base hit for Posey. A 2-out single. That'll bring Hunter Pence to the plate. Well, if you're wondering at home, how important is Hunter Pence to the San Francisco Giants? Well, Greg Murphy has the answer. Murph?
Well, I'll try to answer that if I can. You know, you look at the San Francisco Giants, and this is a team that won a World Series a year ago. 5.5 games behind the Dodgers, and people are saying, well, what's different about this team? Well, what I think you have to keep in mind is that Hunter Pence has been injured for most of the season. Ben, you talked about it, the tendonitis that he had in the wrist, and he started the season on the disabled list because of the fractured arm. If you look at what the Giants have done this year with him in the lineup, how about 13-7? Is that one? I don't know if that hit Pence or not.
Well, he's saying it did, yeah. Right now it'll be a wild pitch. All right, well, Greg Murphy continues.
Okay. As I was saying, they are 13-7 with him in the lineup and just 30-36 without him in the lineup, and that's this season. But then you go over his career as a San Francisco Giant. How about 215 and 188 with him in the lineup, 31 and 36 with him out in the lineup. So, you know, he is an important part of it. You know, that's anywhere from 3 to 5 in that lineup, and is out for protection for Buster Posey as well. So he's a big part of what this team has done over the last couple of years since leaving Philadelphia, and it shows when you look at their record overall.
Well, I can't tell, Murph, whether that ball hit him or not. I think Bruce Bochy is going to want that reviewed. So there you go.
Yeah, Hunter sure thinks it did.
He's talking to Hamels about it right now.
And your attention, please. The previous result is under Giants review.
I think if you're Hunter Pence, or if you're the Giants, I think you want Hunter Pence to swing here, although it puts 2 runners on with 2 men down. And now they appeal to see if he actually swung at that ball. Well, Murph, I think your numbers are right on, and you think about what they've done the last 28 games or since June 1st, or even the last 16 games. They're 5-11. And it's tough to, you know, when you're looking for offense, particularly right-handed offense, it's tough to lose the guy that is currently, you know, in the middle of the lineup. As we take another look, It takes a bounce, and did it hit him? I think it hit his front leg. I don't know if it hit his back leg. It's tough to tell. Boy, I don't know if they'll have enough to overturn this or not.
I know one thing. It was really short.
Yes, it was. Now, maybe they have a different look than what we're showing you. There is more than what we can show you. But the folks in New York will take a look and see if they can gauge whether the ball moved directions once it hit Hunter Pence. Actually, we are showing you everything that New York has. So we're showing everything that Giants have and that the folks in New York have. And honestly, I can't tell whether it hits him. There's the slow-mo right there. It bounces really short of the plate. Does it hit him there? I don't know. Does it hit him there? I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't know how it could be any more inconclusive than that.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Well, it's important for the Giants because if he's still batting in a few moments. Yeah, see, I just saw Tim Timmons or Dana DeMuth going over the counts with Tim Timmons, but they'll lose their challenge if this does not go in their favor. I don't know whether that's a big deal or not. They're up 1-0 at this point. Dana DeMuth is to your right. He's the crew chief. Tim Timmons is the home plate umpire. He's to your left. And this is in the hands of the folks in New York. Those two guys have no say whatsoever as to what's happening now. But they will have a decision from New York momentarily. Right, so they're going to say that that ball did not hit him. The Giants do not have a challenge. Are you surprised that they challenged that with those looks?
Yes, because of those looks and the fact that it's really not that drastic a play which is going to turn the game around one way or the other. They're up by a run. They have their ace on the mound. Maybe there might be a play later on in the game that could really determine the outcome of a ball game.
Yeah, I agree. Well, here's Pence with the count. 1 ball, no strikes. The call stands, which means that there was no conclusive evidence to overturn. And I agree with that.
What if Cole just reared back and hit it right in the ribs right there? How about now?
See how that feels, Hunter. The runner is at second. They score a wild pitch to allow him to go to second base. 2-0 pitch is lined toward left field. Francoeur is there, and he makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. We have completed 3 here in San Francisco. Of the year is W.B. Mason, providing amazingly low prices on kitchen disposables, consumables, small wares, and so much more. From your new restaurant partner, Who But. W.B. Mason. Ben, you going to hop on a cable car at all while you're here in San Francisco?
No. Let's sleep.
Well, here at AT&T Park, the Phillies trail at 1-0 as we go to the top of the 4th inning.
I spent a lot of time in this city.
Darren Ruff hit by a pitch his first time up. And he takes high, 1 ball, no strikes. You've played in both ballparks. Candlestick, which is knocked down now.
Yes.
It's no longer there, just rubble.
Yes.
And you've played here at AT&T Park.
My first visit to Candlestick, I go out for batting practice. And like, these people don't know what they're talking about. It's beautiful. Beautiful day. Take BP, go in. And I'll get ready for the game. I come back out. T-shirt underneath my jersey. I took 2 steps outside the clubhouse. The clubhouse right down the right field line.
Yeah.
I went. I went back in, put a few layers on. It was freezing.
On the inside corner to Ruff, it's 1-2. Well, I never saw a baseball game at Candlestick. I did see a bunch of football games. And at that time of the year, the weather was fine. And it was also daytime.
I had some good stats at Candlestick, that's for sure.
What about here?
Not so much.
Did you enjoy coming here as a visiting player?
I did. It's a great ballpark, good fans. I like the fact that I didn't have to sweat. You know, I don't like to sweat.
It's always a good thing.
A lot of good food in this city as well. Some good grub.
That area out there is some of the best seats in the house over the wall in right field, the Levi's Landing. Outside, 3-2 to Darren Ruff. It'll be Darren Ruff, Carlos Ruiz, Dominic Brown for the Phils here in the top of the 4th. Phillies have gone 23 innings without scoring a run. Swing and a miss. He got him. 4 strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner. And Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Saturday night, catch the best of John Gonzalez in the show that makes Philadelphia sports fun, as the 700 level show takes over the Comcast network. Don't miss the 700 level marathon Saturday night starting at 6 only on the Comcast network. So 4 strikeouts for Bumgarner. Carlos Ruiz is the batter, and Carlos lifts that one to left field. It's pretty deep. Going back is Maxwell. It is gone. A home run for Carlos Ruiz. He's just tied this ball game up. It's a 1-1 game.
Yasha. Chief said, I don't care how big this park is. I'll go up top. You know, he shot that ball to right field his first at bat. Hit the ball hard. Gets a pitch. Inner third here and just really puts a good swing on it. Now Chooch gets in trouble sometimes when he swings a little too hard. This is just free and easy. And that bat just whipped through the zone. Sometimes you really see the muscles in his forearm flexing. I think that slows his bat down.
Well, Mark Oman of Maple Shade has just won $300. The Phillies scoreless streak ends after 23 innings. Now they've tied this game up at 1 here in the top of the 4th. 0-1 to Dominic Brown, and Brown checks his swing. Doesn't matter, it's called a strike. And the best part about it is a Phillies fan comes up with the ball.
Nice.
She'll be asked to throw it back, but she won't do it. Dominic hits it fouled on the left field line. He flied out to left field his only time up. Carlos is saying that was a cutter of some sort that he got. Check swing. That one's popped up on the left side of the infield. Duffy, the third baseman, is there. And he puts it away for the second out. And Freddie Galvis is coming up. By the way, Ben, we do have your numbers for San Francisco for the entire city.
Okay.
6 for 9 with 2 home runs at Candlestick. That a boy.
Yeah.
At AT&T Park, 10 for 41. A 244 batting average, but you did not go yard.
No, never went deep here.
Freddie Galvis takes that one way inside. How could you not go yard in this ballpark? I mean, it's a perfect setting. The porch is perfect for you out there batting left-handed.
Well, for one reason was I wasn't very good.
No. Okay. So we got that straight.
No, I don't know. I just I never went deep here. It was one of those. I was telling Dave before the game, I had one ball I hit off Livan Hernandez. I remember this. It was bases loaded. Livan, I killed a ball opposite field. I thought it was enough to get out, but this park is big. I got a sac fly out of it, but it really took the wind out of my sails.
Well, here's the thing. For future knowledge on your part, don't hit the ball that way. Hit it down the right field line.
I just, you know, I mean, I got a few hits here, but, you know, it was fun to play here. I did enjoy it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Freddie Galvis. And Galvis puts that one right between the legs of Cole Hamels. Right through the 5-hole. And Freddie, pretty long swing. Can't catch up to that high fastball, and he is struck out for the second time. But Carlos Ruiz has evened this baby up. His second home run of the season. Phillies scoreless streak is over. They're now tied at 1 with the Giants as we move to the bottom of the 4th. Provider of the Philadelphia Phillies, and by the Quality Plus Sports Stores. Go further. Here at AT&T Park, the Phillies and the Giants are tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Phillies tied the game on a home run by Carlos Ruiz. Giants scored their run in the 1st inning after they loaded up the bases against Hamels, who threw just 10 pitches in the 3rd. And he'll face Brandon Crawford to start off the 4th inning. Crawford swings at the first pitch, and I guess he got a piece of it, and it's 0-1. Crawford is now 1 for his last 19. Ben is perusing the ballparks where he hit the best. All right, what ballpark did you hit the best in?
Well, 3Com, and then Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Miller Park, and then Coors Field.
Wait, 3 count. Is that what they called Candlestick at the time?
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Crawford strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Cole Hamels.
Good pitch there. Really good pitch.
Well, the ultimate quality starts, which is kind of a new statistic that we talk about from time to time. It's 7 or more innings and 2 earned runs or less. And he has 11 of those this year, tied with Felix Hernandez. As Brandon Belt takes down low, 1 ball, no strikes. A quality start is 6 innings and 3 runs or less. So the ultimate one is just a step further. I actually would like to see if that's what they're going to call it. That should be what we talk about, the ultimate quality start. 7 innings and 2 runs or less.
Well, your goal as a starting pitcher every 5th day is to go out and give your team the best chance to win.
Fly ball left center field. Francoeur ventures back out toward the track. Revere's there too, and he can't handle it. It'll be a ground rule double. That ball looked like it went right past the glove of Ben Revere.
Ball's in the air a long time, and there is a lot of room out there. It's just about where Chooch just hit his home run. Cole Hamels not very happy that ball doesn't get caught.
Yeah, I just think that I just don't think he got it. You know what I mean? I don't think the wind had anything to do with it.
It's just kind of no man's land. But like I said, that ball was in the air for a long time.
Justin Maxwell reached on an infield hit his first time up. A chopper off the plate. And he takes inside, 1 ball and no strikes. I don't think you can call that a wind-blown double. I just don't think he got it. I think he just, I don't know if he didn't see it or what. He had a long way to go. I kind of feel like that should have been caught.
I kind of feel that way too, but again, it was perfectly placed in between the two of them.
Trying to get Maxwell here and then see if he can work out of the inning by getting the pitcher Bumgarner. He already got him once. Ruiz out to the mound to talk to Hamels.
That was a super top secret meeting. No one's going to read their lips.
Nope. Well, there's a curveball, and that's only the 3rd one he's thrown tonight. He drops it in there for strike 2. It's 3-2.
That would have been the last pitch if I'm Justin Maxwell that I'd be looking for.
Think he tries a cutter here, or do you think he goes back to that?
4-seamer in.
No, it was a cutter, and he missed with it, so he walks Maxwell. That is the 2nd walk issued by Hamels. So Bumgarner's the batter. He'll take a look over Roberto Kelly. Last time he was up, same situation. He did not bunt, and Hamels struck him out. I think he's more apt to have him bunt here than he was the last time. What do you think?
I'm just looking for his feet. His feet look like they're in the same spot. And when I say hitters don't move up in the batter's box to give themselves a better chance to get the ball in fair territory,
Well, he does square. He takes a strike. It's 0-1.
He had his feet in the same spot, but he kind of inchwormed his way up with his feet to the top of that batter's box. Well, he had some ugly swings his first at bat, so
that's why I would have him bunt. He does square again. He takes inside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And Bumgarner over to talk to Roberto Kelly.
We're only 3.5 months into the season. Probably know the signs by now. Just saying, Tom.
Well, maybe that's what he was asking. Are you sure you took the bunt off? And now 2 balls and 1 strike. Scoreboard here reads 1-2. So Tim Timmons is trying to signal the press box, and he just gave them the thumbs up without even looking. Phillies have the infield set up to try to turn 2. And he pops it straight up, and it'll be to our rights. Everybody down in the second level was waiting for the ball to drop down from the third level. It never came down.
It's a good vantage point from this booth.
This is a great vantage point.
I really do.
You know what you should do tomorrow is go down to the main press box. Wait till you see that vantage point.
Where's that located?
Second floor.
Really?
We're on the 3rd floor. So look there, down low, under club level. That's where the media, the writers are. That is an unbelievable view. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Bumgarner.
You can just see that Cole just does not have that command this evening.
Yeah, I thought the way he threw the 3rd inning that he was going to get it back. Just because it was a 10-pitch inning. And a liner out toward left field. Francoeur's coming in. It drops in front of him. And the bases will be loaded for the Giants. Madison Bumgarner swinging away. Picks up the hit. And Angel Pagan is coming to the plate.
Well, I hope this comes back to bite the Giants in the tail, because I think everyone in the ballpark knew that ball was going to get down. And Brandon Belt's not the fastest runner, but I mean, he was really holding up to make sure that ball did indeed get down. Hopefully the Phillies can roll one over here and get a pair.
So the bases are loaded. Belt's at 3rd, Maxwell's at 2nd, Bumgarner's at 1st, and Angel Pagan, who's 1 for 2, will be the batter. He struck out looking his last time up. See his career numbers with the bases loaded. Good numbers. And he lines one into center field, a base hit. The Giants will retake the lead. Rounding 3rd, heading for home is Maxwell. The throw to the plate, cut off by Ruff. It's a 2-run single. It's 3-1 San Francisco. And as it turns out, it doesn't come back to haunt them. And Angel Pagan is 2 for 3. Great approach, RBI situation. He got a first pitch that he could swing at, and he took care of it.
He lines his ball back up the box. Cole ducking to get out of the way, but he stays on it, goes down and gets it. Ball was smoked, I tell you.
Well, it looked like it was a cutter that was left out over the plate. So 3-1 San Francisco. They have 3 runs now on 8 hits, and we're only in the 4th inning. And Joe Panik, who has one of those 8 hits, is up with runners on 1st and 2nd.
I think you're right. I think that was a cutter. Just stayed in the middle. Both teams being very aggressive tonight.
Paddock hits it through the hole at shortstop into left field. Bumgarner will hold up at third. And the bases remain loaded, or the bases are loaded again. And Matt Duffy is coming up. Duffy only has 13 career at-bats with the bases loaded, but he has certainly paid dividends. 6 for 13. Phillies again set up to turn 2. They need some outs here. But they also have to stop the runs from scoring because Bumgarner is difficult to get anything against. They were fortunate they got the home run by Ruiz. But now they give it right back with 2 runs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I think Pete Maccannon's going to think about getting somebody up in the pen. This is 9 hits allowed by Hamels. Outside, 2-0.
A lot of deep counts, a lot of hitters counts.
On the outside corner with a fastball, and it's 2-1.
He couldn't have placed that one any better.
And he needs it.
Nothing Matt Duffy could have done with that pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Line drive, base hit it to center field. 1 run is in. Here comes Pagan heading home. The throw goes to Galvis. It's 5-1 San Francisco. Matt Duffy has 2 hits. The Giants have scored 4 here in the 4th inning. And Bob McClure is now coming out of the dugout to go talk to Hamels.
The Giants have seemed all night to not be willing to get jammed. You know, we talk about Madison Bumgarner being very effective in on righties. It's almost like the Giants have had a game plan. You know, they've given up on some pitches outside, much like the 2-0 pitch that Duffy just saw out of Cole Hamels. Not even budging at it. Almost like, you know what, I'm taking away the inside part of the plate.
Right.
Because when Cole is effective, he can pound that fastball and the cutter in, which opens up that changeup away. Well, the Giants are not going for that tonight.
Well, it's interesting. You kind of talked about that being the game plan for the Phillies hitters against Madison Bumgarner. Well, after McClure's visit out to the mounds, it'll be Buster Posey who will be the hitter. 4 runs have scored for the Giants here in the bottom of the 4th inning. They lead it 5-1. Posey singled his last time up, singled to the right side. Jake Diekman's heading out to the pen. Boy, Posey got one that he could square up right there. DeFreitas is going out to shield his friends. He'll be the protector of the bullpen.
5 hits and a walk this inning.
After a strikeout of Crawford to start the inning. No balls, 1 strike. Curveball, and it's low. Madison Bumgarner has a very comfortable lead at this point. Up 5-1, and he's helped his cause with a single and a run scored in this inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Posey, and now Hamill steps off. And a line drive base hit to left field. Rounding third and being held there is Panic. And the bases are loaded once again. It's the 3rd time in this inning that the Giants have loaded the bases. And the 9th man to bat in this inning is Hunter Pence, and he's coming up with a chance to bust this game wide open.
Never seen so many runners being held at third. It's the 3rd runner of this inning that's been held up by Roberto Kelly. And that's the number right there. 84 pitches.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
And 11 hits. And we're still in the 4th. So much for the ultimate quality start. 32 pitches in this 4th inning. Out toward right field. That's well hit. Brown going back. It is gone. A grand slam for Hunter Pence, and he does break the game wide open. It's 9-1 San Francisco here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Probably why Roberto Kelly held him up. You saw those career numbers with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
That being his 5th career grand slam. That's just brute strength right there.
Opposite field home run for Hunter Pence. Pete Buchanan's headed out to the mound. That's going to be it for Cole Hamels. On paper, everybody expected a pitcher's duel. Paper does not always dictate the outcome of a ball game. It's only 309 down the right field line. But that would have been a home run even at a Citizens Bank Park. There's a little strength behind that for Hunter Pence. Cole Hamels' night is done. Giants have batted around here in the 4th inning, and they're still not done. 9 earned runs. His line is complete. His evening is over. It's the shortest start for Cole since April 5th, 2011, when he went 2 2/3 against the New York Mets. And Hunter Pence, his grand slam was the topper against Hamels.
Yeah, that is the proverbial nail in the coffin there. That was well hit.
So now it's Jake Diekman who's the new pitcher for the Phils. And still 1 man down. And Brandon Crawford, who struck out to start this inning, takes a healthy whack at the first pitch, and he fouls it back. See Diekman's numbers: 2-1, a 4.83 ERA. And 2. Got a couple lefties due up with Crawford and Belt. He is something. These guys have been right on everything tonight.
A lot of foul balls. A ton of foul balls tonight. Cole just wasn't able to put guys away.
Check swing. No swing, says Dana DeMuth. Broke his bat, and Darren Ruff will catch this one over at first. So Crawford's made the first and second outs of this inning.
Get a new one. Oof.
And now Brandon Belt, he started the rally with a double to left center field on a ball that, you know, looked like it should have been caught. It wasn't. But then the floodgates opened up. 2-run single for Angel Pagan, a 2-run single for Matt Duffy, and a grand slam for Hunter Pence. And that pitch is a strike to Belt. One ball, 2 strikes to Belt.
There's a pitch there. If Jake Diekman can command that fastball into lefties, he's going to have a ton of success. A lot of lefties don't like throwing in on lefties. You know, pretty much taught their whole life. Away, away, away. That's one thing. The first pitcher that comes to mind against the Phillies is Zach Duke. You know, for the Pirates, he's able to throw in very effectively against the Phillies lefties. Sinkers down and in, breaking some bats.
Yeah, he was always tough against them. What about Jeff Locke? Is he able to do that?
That's who I'm thinking. I'm sorry, Jeff Locke. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but Zach Duke is similar. 2-2 pitch. He got him. Threw him a slider. And Belt was thinking fastball. Side is finally retired. However, the Giants explode for 8 runs. And the explosion was topped by Hunter Pence's opposite field grand slam. That sent Cole Hamels to the showers. The Phillies trail at 9-1 as we go to the 5th inning. A quiz answer. All right, Ben, you've had a chance to chew on this one, and the answer is not Maury Wills. Which Giant hit the game-winning home run in the 18th inning of Game 2 of the National League Division Series in 2014 against the Nationals?
I'm going to say Brandon Belt.
Brandon Belt is correct.
And the only reason I know that is because I have a sickness and I watch every playoff game there is. I remember staying up and watching that entire game. What a ball game that was.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
I get no bell today?
Bing. No, wasn't the same, was it?
No.
An angel did not get his wings. The bell must not be working.
Hey, well, thank you.
0-2 pitch to Odubel Herrera, pinch hitting for Diekman. DeFreitas is throwing in the bullpen right now. Another one fouled away. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Madison Bumgarner. And one out now for Cesar Hernandez.
Elevated fastball. Steady diet of breaking pitches early on in this at bat and then climbs the ladder. See, that is the perfect height. I talked about raising the eye level, throwing that elevated fastball. That was the perfect height because it looked like you could hit it. Some are just way too high and the hitter's not going to budge at it.
Cesar takes high. 1 ball, no strikes. You know, we mentioned during the outset of the telecast that there were a lot of folks that wondered if the workload last season for Madison Bumgarner was going to have an effect on him here in 2015. Cole Hamels talked about that after the 08 World Championship, and Rich Doobie used to talk about how that had an effect on Cole in 2009. For Bumgarner, he said he didn't think it was going to bother him at all. Dave Righetti, he didn't think it would bother him. Nothing seems to bother Bumgarner. That one's over to third. Diving stop by Duffy. He hurries over to first in time. And the 2 outs. Well, last year, Bumgarner threw 270 innings, counting the postseason.
He's a big man. He's young enough. NLCS and World Series MVP.
Yeah, 52 2/3 in the postseason, which is a record. The last time somebody in a regular season threw 270 innings or more was back in 1999. Randy Johnson did it. It just doesn't happen during a regular season. For Bumgarner, it was the regular season, then it carried over to the postseason.
You think about it. I mean, unless you're perennially annually making the playoffs, you're not used to playing that extra month and a half if you get to the World Series. That's why a lot of these younger guys, when they get caught up, they run out of steam because usually in September they're on the golf course or sitting in a tree stand or something. They're not used to playing the additional 30 games.
Revere lines it into left. He has his second hit. Well, and they're also regimented by the organizations that they have to, once they reach a certain number, particularly in the minor leagues, they're done.
Yeah.
Well, this is what he did in the World Series. I thought when he went into Game 7, the Royals sort of helped him out with that first inning because they were so overly aggressive against him, and they had a chance to get some runs, but he really didn't run out of steam at all in Game 7.
He had some adrenaline flowing like no other man in the world. Oh.
Maikel Franco has that one go behind him, and it nicked him in the leg. So he's hit by a pitch that'll put runners on first and second.
So Madison lost his footing there, looking down at the dirt. Watch him fall off here to the third base side.
Sure didn't look like he lost his footing. He looked down afterward, but
interesting. The reason I say interesting because it was the first pitch.
Yeah. Can't think of a reason why they would throw at him.
No, not in a 9-1 ball game. Pick one out here, Jeffrey. Comes a heater in. Oh, no.
A heater away.
Buster there signaled after Madison shook that it was going to be a heater in.
Got him. A heater up. Strikeout number 7 for Bumgarner. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 men left for the Phils here in the top of the 5th inning. So Bumgarner is doing a little front running right now. He's got an 8-run lead. Throwing some strikes. He gets Jeff Francoeur for the first time tonight. Side is retired. Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank's Champions in Action program recognizes nonprofit organizations that are making a difference in our communities. Congratulations to our latest champion, Philadelphia Academies. To learn more, visit citizensbank.com/community. At Citizens Bank, we want to help you bank better. So the next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. Changes for the Phillies as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Odubel Herrera stays in to play center field. Ben Revere moves from center field to left field, and Justin DeFreitas is the new pitcher. Let's see if the Phillies respond to Franco getting thrown at, or at least close to, in the top of the 5th inning. DeFreitas' 41st game. Heck, if they thought Bumgarner was doing it, he's in the on-deck circle. So that would be the time to retaliate. Maxwell is 1 for 1 tonight. That one is lined out toward left center field softly. Odubel has it, bobbles. Maxwell on his way to second, and he'll get there. I think that's going to be scored a straight double, the 6th of the year for Maxwell.
He was not slowing down.
No.
And he hits it off the end of the bat here. And he gets out in that left center gap. You can see there is no slowing down. We saw the infield single he had in the 2nd inning. He can roll. He can flat out roll.
So runner in scoring position. Bumgarner's the batter. Bumgarner singled his last time up and scored. He also struck out his first time up. So he's 1 for 2. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Another slider, and it's in there. 1-1.
Good pitch there. He has seen a lot of off-speed pitches,
more than
change-ups, breaking
more than
balls.
most pitchers would see as hitters. Right through the 5-hole. Maxwell will trot over to third. Now they scored a pass ball to Ruiz. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think it's one of those tweeners. You don't know if it's going to stay in the air or hit the dirt. Chooch get down just a little late in getting to that. I think he thought it was going to bounce, get on the dirt. But just a little tardy in getting his knees down, his chest over top of that ball.
The Phillies will play the infield in, down 9-1. As Bumgarner fouls it back, it remains 2-2.
See, even that pitch there, I'd like to see Chooch get out and block that pitch. You know, I know it's 9-1 and things aren't going well, but that ball, if it last minute breaks more than you think, it's going to kick off your glove.
That one's pulled toward third, off the glove of Franco. Boy, did he let that play him. Maxwell will score. 10-1, Giants on top. That'll be an E5. Ooh, they've scored that a base hit. That's got to be an error. He misplayed that. It was hit hard. But he just went the wrong way with it. He went to backhand it, and he should have been in front of it.
It's the only reason I can tell that, you know, they're going to give him a hit because of the fact it was scolded. And the ball really just stayed down.
$14 hits for the Giants. And Angel Pagan is the hitter. He is 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. And by the way, still nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
So the ball stays in the grass and really stays down. Mike Kell expecting that ball to come up a little bit higher. But this grass very spongy, as we've seen earlier in this ball game. It's going to stay down. This is Pagan's first at bat from the left side this evening.
It's already his 4th at bat, and we're only in the 5th inning. Fly ball left center field. Revere is out there. And one away. And Joe Panik is coming up.
Yeah, the 14 hits as of right now. Brandon Crawford, the only Giant in the starting lineup without a hit this evening.
And he made the first 2 outs in the 4th. Joe Panik has 2 hits. He's 2 for 3. His average at .309. Phillies came into this game with a staff ERA on the road of 5.31. I mean, that's one of the big reasons why their record on the road this year is just 11-34. That one is hit in the air down the left field line. Revere gets to the spot and grabs it for the 2nd out. Cole Hamels, 12 hits allowed, 9 earned runs. The 9 earned runs a career high. And Matt Duffy will get a nice round of applause, and he should. Duffy continues to hit the Phillies well. He's 7 for 15 against them this year. Man was 3 for 24. 3 for his last 24 coming into this ball game.
These guys just aren't flinching at anything. It's
strange. What does that tell you?
That they're seeing the ball very well. Not a whole lot of them tonight.
Swings and misses.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's. I'm with you. I mean, their approach, as we said, aggressive, and it's paid off. One ball and 2 strikes to Matt Duffy.
Yeah, right. That 3rd inning came along. Cole Hamels threw 10 pitches, and he looked like he was just going to be on his way to getting that back, that release point, and making pitches.
Right between the legs of DeFreitas, and Duffy has his 3rd hit of the night. Well, so much for the Giants struggling offensively. And they struggled in the series against the Mets. They're not struggling anymore. I mean, look at the box score, the in-game box score for the Giants tonight. I mean, Ben mentioned it. Only Crawford is without a hit. I mean, that includes Bumgarner, who has 2 hits tonight. This is a 15-hit explosion for the Giants.
And we're in the 5th.
And we're in the 5th inning. Buster Posey takes inside and low, 1-0. I wonder if they'll get Posey out of this ball game at this point. I mean, he's got that sore hamstring. There's really no reason to keep him in.
I think he'd be in there as long as Bumgarner's in there. I mean, Bumgarner's.
That's a good point. Outside 2-0. You know what I mean, though. I mean, you've caught with a hamstring. I mean, it's a painful thing for anybody.
Yeah. Bumgarner at 79 pitches right now, currently. And I can't imagine him going more than 100 this evening. So probably 2 more innings. He'll catch.
Should be an easy play for Maikel Franco. Well, it's going to be even easier because he's waiting for Madison Bumgarner. Freddie Galvis says, just go tag third. The force play wraps up the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 men left. On to the 6th inning with the Giants holding a commanding lead. League of the 2015 All-Star Game. Jonathan has been closing the door for the Phillies with consistency since he arrived, and the 2015 season hasn't been any different. Leading up to his Midsummer Classic selection, he had saved all 14 attempts, 16 straight dating back to last season, and 30 of his last 31 opportunities. Papelbon's 6th All-Star nomination is well-deserved, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Back here at AT&T Park, the Phillies trail at 10-1. No Jonathan Papelbon in a safe situation today. No, in the dugout as the inning came to a close. Justin DeFreitas seemed to be upset about something.
He went over and apologized.
Yeah, he did.
I'm sorry.
I think Freddie Galvis, said something to him. Here's Duffy to throw out Darren Ruff. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the 6th inning. Then he walked back over to him. Not really sure what Justin was saying to him. He was pointing over toward third.
Maikel probably wanted to run him over after getting hit. Bumgarner, that is. After you see a guy do that, instinctively you want to go tag him out. Then he probably should just run over and tag third base.
Carlos 2 for 2 tonight. He has singled. He's also homered. And a fastball in there. It's 0-1. Well, Madison Bumgarner before this ball game was given 9 runs of support in his last 6 games. Tonight he's been given 10 runs of support. First time that 2 World Series MVPs have faced off on the mound against each other. Of course, Bumgarner and Hamels faced each other last year, but Bumgarner was not a World Series MVP at that point. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, the Giants' struggles have been about the offense more than the pitching. I mean, Bumgarner's allowed a run tonight, but that's only 3 earned runs allowed by the starting staff in the last 25 2/3 innings of work.
And that's not just this year, though, Tom. I mean, they've won 3 World Series with pitching and defense and eking out runs one way or the other.
Cast-offs from other teams. Two balls, 2 strikes to Ruiz. Fly ball out towards center field. Pagan on the run. It's over his head, and it is off the base of the wall. Carlos on his way to second, and he'll get there standing. So he has a single, a home run, and now a double against Madison Bumgarner.
That way, Chooch.
A 3-hit night, and he's a triple away from the cycle tonight.
Just throw a nasty lefty out there. Chooch, great numbers against Kershaw. 3 hits tonight against Bumgarner. The ball is driven to center field.
Well, 12 for his last 29 now, Ben, against left-handed pitching.
I'm not a mathematician, but that's pretty good.
That's 414, just so you know. Outside, 1-0.
I think for Chooch to get that elusive triple, would have to be out in, I think, 421 sign in right center.
That's was it Triples Alley?
Triples Alley.
There it is.
Long way away.
He might need it to kick around a little bit, though, too, Ben. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit.
I'm going to tell him you said that, Tom.
Foul ball, and it's 1-2. April of last year, his last triple. And now Posey's going out to talk to Bumgarner.
I have no idea what they could possibly be discussing right now. If anything, it's probably about the signs. Chooch being a catcher, maybe switching the signs up a little bit.
Dominic fouls it toward the second level. And it remains 1-2. Dominic's now 4 for 22 on this road trip. His average sits at 192. Another foul ball.
Good rip there on a hanger. I'm sure Don would want that one back.
We've watched 4 games against the Dodgers. This is the 4th game we've seen between the Phillies and the Giants. There's going to be interesting battles between the Giants and the Dodgers the rest of the year. I think the Dodgers certainly have better offense than the Giants do. That one's off the end of the bat. It'll flare out to right center field. Ruiz did read it well. He's around third heading home. The throw to the plate cut off by Belt. And they've got Dominic Brown caught between first and second. He'll be tagged out. So a run does score. But there are 2 outs now in the 6th inning. It's a 10-2 ball game. I think Dominic thought that ball was going to be cut off.
I'll tell you what, it's not that bad a read because Chooch is running. Hunter Prince has a very good arm. But the throw was up the line, so Brandon Belt does cut it off. Send it over to Crawford, who eventually tags Don Brown out.
Freddie Galvis hits one off the hands down the left field line. So Galvis is in with a base hit, and he'll stop at first. And Odubel Herrera will be the batter. He slid in the 5th inning to bat for the pitcher spot. The double switch enabled him to stay in. Bullpen action. George Cantos is loosening for the Giants. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 91 on that fastball. See if this is the last inning for Bumgarner. 96 pitches. His team is up 10-2.
You can bank on it. Especially with him going to the All-Star game. Getting some work in there.
Little tapper left side. This will be a tough play. Crawford's got to hurry. Herrera is going to beat it. An infield hit. And that'll stand because they do not have a challenge. But it looked like he beat it anyway.
It did.
Runners on first and second with 2 men down.
Got out of the box very quickly. And these guys that can run, they can smell these hits.
Bruce Bochy's going to go out and talk to the home plate umpire.
This is close. But I think he's safe.
Yeah, I think he's safe as well.
I thought if anything Crawford maybe would have barehanded that baseball. Chose to go with his glove and shovel it on over to Brandon Belt.
Cesar takes low. It's 1 ball, no strikes. So Galvis is at second base. Herrera is at first base. Jedmar Gomez starts to loosen up in the bullpen. Pitcher spot is the cleanup spot. That's where Jeff Francoeur was batting. And that's where DeFreitas is sitting. Outside 2-0. Phillies do not have big boppers up right now, obviously. But if they can get a couple more runs here, they're going to send Bumgarner to the showers before he's finished with the 6th inning. Two balls, 1 strike. He's reached 100 pitches.
Been chasing that one all game, the Phillies lineup has.
He lays off 3-2, so now the runners will be off on this pitch.
Get you one right here, Caesar.
Runners go. Pitch is inside, ball 4. So that will load up the bases here in the 6th inning. And Bruce Bochy's heading out. That's going to be it for Madison Bumgarner. And they signal for the right-hander. So Bumgarner will not last through the 6th inning. So 5 2/3 for Madison Bumgarner, 103 pitches. The base runners are his responsibility. He's got an 8-run lead as he exits AT&T Park. A pitching change. The sold-out crowd acknowledging Bumgarner with his team up 10-2. First, when the Phillies take on the Atlanta Braves, it culminates on Sunday the 2nd with the Phillies Wall of Fame Fathead, free to all fans. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Pat Burrell will be inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame. Well, here at AT&T Park with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning, the bases are loaded. And Ben Revere will be the batter. George Cantos will be the new pitcher. He takes over from Madison Bumgarner. Cantos 41st game, 2-1, a 1.70 earned run average. So there's Bumgarner, 5 2/3. He allows 8 hits and so far the 2 runs, but the 3 runners are his responsibility. Breaking ball in there. It's 0-1. Revere tonight is 2 for 2 with a walk.
You don't know how this inning would have ended up if Don Brown doesn't get thrown out. You know, he probably thought, listen, they're going to air it out, see if they get Chooch at home plate. You know, it's poor base running. You don't know how it would have ended up, but you know, you're looking at 10-3, bases loaded, 1 out.
0-2. Yeah, it wasn't like Dom was blasting around the first base bag. He picked it up when he hit the first base bag. That's why I thought, well, that's why I was surprised that he started going towards second. Oh, 2 pitch coming to Revere. Ground ball towards second base. Panic is up with it. And the inning is over. So the Phils leave them loaded here in the 6th inning. The line is done on Madison Bumgarner. We'll go to the 7th with the Phillies down 10-2. Dealer.com. Buy McDonald's. Double the love at McDonald's with a double cheeseburger and small fry. Just $2.50. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And buy Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Justin DeFreitas goes back to work here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He allowed a run in the 5th. There's a breaking ball. It's 0-1.
Hunter Pence might be the only player in Major League Baseball that wears his pants above his kneecaps.
Didn't we see somebody earlier this year that had that look?
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be a trend that everybody will pick up on.
I don't know how that can be comfortable.
There was somebody we saw earlier this year. Help me out, Murph, on this one. There was somebody we saw earlier this year that had he was a catcher.
I don't remember that, Tom. I'm just wondering if you can call them pants at that point. I'm not sure.
I think they're knickers.
I don't even know they're knickers. I think they're shorts.
0-2 pitch.
Yes, he did.
I think he did.
Oh.
They say he didn't. This is his grand slam back in the 4th inning.
As long as he does that, I don't think they care how long his pants are.
I think they think it's funny. They like it. The man takes a scooter to the ballpark.
Eco-friendly.
Yes. Do you think the scooter runs on diesel instead of regular gasoline?
100%.
Because diesel fuel is, Ben?
It's cheaper out here in California.
It's cheaper out here in California.
And I don't know why.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Pence. And he lines it to left field. Ben Revere makes the catch coming forward. One away. Brendan Crawford's coming up. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, tomorrow we'll mark the return of David Buchanan to the hill for the Phillies. You'll remember that really struggled early this year after a terrific spring training where he really was dominant. Came in as probably the number 5 guy and ended up in spring training as the number 3 starter for the Phillies, but really struggled during the regular season. 0-for-5 with an ERA over 8. He was sent down. Then he got hurt, sprained his ankle severely down there at the AAA level, but he is all the way back, and he will pitch tomorrow for the Phillies. It did pretty well then at the AAA level, guys. 5 starts. He was 2-0 with a 2.96 ERA. had a chance to talk with him today, and he is chomping at the bit to get back out here at the major league level and, kind of reestablish himself. Who, a guy that had a pretty good year a year ago after bursting onto the scene and really struggling earlier. So he's ready to go. He says he's almost, his ankle's almost 100%. He said still a little bit swollen, but no pain involved. So he's ready to go, and he's going to get his chance to be a starter for the Phils and hope to stick for the rest of the season. Will be David Buchanan. But if he's watching this lineup tonight, I'm sure he's wondering, all right, how do I get these guys out? Because they're swinging a good bats tonight.
Well, mechanically, Murph, he said he's made some adjustments. You know how David kind of falls back and then comes forward. Apparently he's made an adjustment on that. It's something that Bob McClure and Ray Burris, who's the AAA pitching coach, talked to him about. That ankle injury, when he did it, I think everybody thought he had broken his ankle.
He said he thought he had broken it for sure when he rolled over on it.
And we saw the video. I mean, it was ugly. And he was describing how it happened today. It was a fly ball to left. Odubel Herrera calls off Ben Revere to make the catch. 2 outs.
I'm back from my basketball days. I would get my ankles taped for every practice, every game, and even playing professional baseball, I had my ankles taped every game.
Really?
And fortunately, I never broke an ankle, but they said that when you roll an ankle or you sprain an ankle, it's sometimes more painful than actually breaking the ankle. So, I mean, that was an ugly incident that he had there in the Lehigh Valley.
Well, he told the trainer that he would be back within 4 weeks. It turned out it was more like 6 weeks, which I think is still pretty quick because of the injury that he had. Brandon Belt swinging a miss at the first pitch. It's 0-1.
David Buchanan should be chomping at the bit because he sees the opportunity that could present itself.
It's there.
It is definitely there with this starting rotation the Phillies have had.
ERA of over 5.5. The Phillies starters. Pete Buchanan was asked about him today. He said, listen, we all hope that David is successful. And somebody asked him about spring training, how he was the Phillies' best pitcher, as Murph talked about. He said, well, it tells you one thing. You can't really hang your hat on spring training numbers. They're good, but they don't answer every question. One ball, 2 strikes to Brandon Belt. Inside, 2-2.
Adjusting with the 38 pitches. You think he goes back out? He's due up second next inning.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll go 1 inning at a time after this. You know what I mean? They only have 2 more innings to get to, unless the Phillies miraculously come back. You have the extra pitcher. Inside again, 3-2. That one's hit foul. Harvey Posard is the ball dude down the first base line. He was able to keep it in front of him.
Harvey is 56 years old and a winemaker in Napa Valley.
Is he really?
Yes.
First Giants game was in 1966. Now he is spry down the first base line. He's 56. He's moving well. Down the third base line,
George Meyer
is 74. He's a doctor. Also a retired U.S. Air Force officer.
We thank him for his service.
That boy Harvey, surrounded, baby. Somebody hit one over to George. He needs some action.
He hasn't had one all night.
Nope. Something the Giants do here. A lot of times the season ticket holders will be the ball dudes down the first and third base side. That ball gets away from Ruiz. It's ball 4. So Belt works out a 2-out walk.
And we are not calling them ball dudes out of.
No, that's what they're called.
That's what they're actually called.
Ball dudes. In fact, we're given a ball dude information sheet before each game. You want to know why Harvey wears number 23?
I would love to know that, Tom.
Because he grew up watching Tito Fuentes. That is why he wears the number 23.
It's a valid reason.
One ball, one strike to Justin Maxwell. Maxwell has scored a couple runs tonight. Infield hit, a double. He's also walked. His average and everybody else's average in the Giants. There's Tito Fuentes. Used to bounce the bat off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good pitch there.
Tito Fuentes used to wear a headband. I don't know if you remember that, Ben.
I do not.
Yeah, he used to wear a headband. So Harvey and Tito got their picture taken together. It's kind of like you and Schmitty getting your picture taken together. And Murph and the Bull, even though the Bull cut him in high school. They've reconciled, though.
I don't hold it against him. I'd have cut me too. Man knew talent, that's for sure.
He should have still kept you around for entertainment purposes, though. 2-2 pitch. Another foul ball.
See, Justin threw a great fastball inside to Maxwell and then immediately goes back out with a slider. I'd love to see him double up on that pitch inside. Just as a hitter, you're thinking, you know what? All right, he just threw a great pitch inside. I'm going to look back out towards the outer part of the plate. And if you can dot one, it doesn't even have to be that good. If you get a guy that's looking out there, just dot another one in there. Double up. You can have so much success like that.
All right, so would you do it again here?
I would have done it 2 pitches ago.
Elvis Araujo going to warm up for the Phillies.
He went from 38 pitches to 49 in a hurry.
I think his season high is 58 pitches.
These guys have fouled off so many pitches tonight.
Just a bit outside and low, 3-2. Carter goes, and that's going to be a base hit down the right field line. Heading toward the corner, going to third, and now being waved home is Belts. Cesar Hernandez's throw to the plate is not in time. Justin Maxwell has his second extra base hit. It's now 11-2. They have scored that at triple for Maxwell.
And he can really run. It's a fastball out over the plate, sends it down the right field line. As soon as that ball landed, I watched Maxwell. He just was motoring around second base. He can really run.
Yeah, by the time Cesar had it, he was already around second base.
And I was thinking maybe Cesar was going to go to third with that, but I don't think you would have gotten it.
I don't think they would have gotten
it. I think
the
triple is definitely the right call there.
So Bob McClure out to the mound to talk to Justin DeFreitas. Gregor Blanco has just been announced as a pinch hitter. So the hits just keep on coming. The 2-out walk, a hindrance for DeFreitas after getting ahead 2 strikes. Now the Phillies coming into this ball game had walked a batter in 233 innings. And of those walks, 103 scored. Well, tonight the storyline is more than the walks, but the walks have hurt. Breaking ball that's in there to Blanco. Phillies pitchers have issued 3. 2 of the 3 have scored. He 11 runs on 16 hits in game 1 of this series. 0-2.
Good change up there.
Well, there you see the numbers we're talking about. The league average is 42%. They're not too far ahead of the league average, but it is the 6th highest rate in Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball. The 0-2 pitch. Got him with a changeup. So back-to-back changeups, and Blanco is retired. 1 run, 1 hit. DeFreitas allows 2 in 2 innings. We'll go to the 7th. Giants lead at 11-2. Well, it's been loud tonight for the Giants. Look at the runs they scored in the 4th inning alone. 11 runs on 16 hits. It's time for our Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Carlos Ruiz has 3 of the 8 hits for the Phillies. But Hunter Pence's grand slam, well, that was the topper in that 8-run 4th inning. Madison Bumgarner had 2 hits, lasted just 5 2/3, but he's in line for the victory. And now the changes begin for the Giants that we kind of anticipated. Gene Maché is the new pitcher. He's 1-0 with a 5.29 ERA. The new catcher is Susak, so he'll take over for Buster Posey. And Adrianza is the new shortstop, and Blanco stays in to play right field. Franco swings at the first pitch, and there's 1 out. There's Gregor Blanco in for Hunter Pence. So Hunter Pence's night is complete. And Cody Ashley will pinch hit for Justin DeFreitas. Gomez throws again in the bullpen for the Phils. Fastball is outside, 1-0. Now the Phillies are in line right now for their 35th loss on the road. They'd be 11-35 if this score holds up. They would also go to 29-60 on the year. They'd be 31 games under 500. I think a lot of people expected they would struggle this year. I don't know if this is what they expected, though. For them to be on pace for, I think it's 109 losses right now. That one's hit into foul territory on the third base side, and Duffy and Susac look at each other, and the ball just bounces into foul territory. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Cody gets a hit here. He should take both of them out for supper. This is poor communication right here. Ideally, that's, you know, from a catcher standpoint, the third baseman coming in on that. But it was kind of close to home plate. Someone's got to take charge there and make a play. Big league ball game, that has to be caught.
2-1 pitch to Ashe. 2-2. Looked like that was the same pitch that was called ball 1. So 2-2 to Cody. Cody overall hitting .248 on the year. Over toward first. That's a fair ball. Belt will take it to the bag. 2 outs. 2 rather easy outs. And Darren Ruff will come to the plate. He's been hit by a pitch. He struck out. He's also grounded out to third. Giants also have to, in certain spots, figure out some of their bullpen, only because the numbers have not been great, particularly over the last 12 games. The last dozen games, bullpen's ERA is 6.48, and the opposition is hitting .308. But that can change. 0-2.
Just didn't see a lot of swings like that by the Giants tonight. You know, it just, they seem to be on everything, and very quiet 8 hits, you know, with the exception of Chooch. Oh, hey, Darren.
That one's hooked out toward left center. Maxwell flags it on 1 hop, so Darren has the 9th hit. So he's aboard with 2 men down. And Carlos Ruiz will be the batter.
That triple, Chooch.
All right, so we're thinking out by the 421. Do you think it needs to kick it all, or are you thinking cleanly out to the 421?
Cleanly out to the 421. I don't know how it's going to happen. Any way it gets out there, it's fine by me.
Only cycle here in this ballpark was Eric Burns back in 2003 when he was with the Oakland A's.
That's something. I would think there'd be more than that because of that big alley in right center.
Carlos waves at the 1-2 pitch, so nice, no cycle this time. He may get one more chance at it in the 9th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Jenmar Gomez will be next up for the Phils out of the bullpen. Giants on top as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Jedmar Gomez 0-2 with a 2.20 ERA. And he will face the top of the Giants order here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cole Hamels started. He went 3 1/3, allowed 9 runs on 12 hits. Angel Pagan leads it off. He takes low and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Jake Diekman went 2/3, did not allow anything. He got the Phillies out of that 4th inning. And you can credit 2 innings to Justin DeFreitas. He also is charged with 2 runs. Inside, and it's 2-1.
Very disappointing. You know, tonight obviously Cole didn't have his best stuff. Giving up 12 hits and 9 runs. But Bumgarner, he wasn't sharp either.
No.
You know, 5 2/3, 8 hits, only giving up the 2 runs. But you know, he had 2 walks. Cole had 2 walks. Neither pitcher just very sharp this evening.
That one's out toward left center field, and Odubel won't get to it. And it'll go to the wall, and Pagan's on his way to second. Angel Pagan with his 3rd hit. 17 hits now for the Giants. Well, it's time now for our Coors Timeless Moments. Brought to you by Coors Banquets. And our timeless moment for this evening on this date, 1936. Chuck Klein becomes only the 3rd player in the National League to hit 4 home runs in a game. A 9-6 10-inning win for the Phillies at Pittsburgh.
Was it hot that day, Tom?
It's Pittsburgh today. Yeah, it was warm.
Maybe he took a road trip.
That was the year my dad was born. 1936. Yeah. He was not born at this time, though. October of 36.
Oh, okay.
Joe Paddock is the batter. He's 2 for 4.
Thanks for clarifying.
with a run scored. Outside to Paddock, 1-0. You know, it's funny you talk about the pitching matchup. You know, we were looking forward to this, I think, since Monday.
Yeah.
When we came out here to the West Coast. That ball is crushed. It's not coming back. In fact, it may even leave the ballpark. 2-run home run for Joe Paddock, his 7th of the year. Oh, man. Was the ball that important? Wow. I guess the beer earlier was important too.
I haven't seen that. How's he going to get back up? Man, that ball was cooked. Such an easy swing. Short, concise swing.
Oh, man. Well, I guess A for effort.
And T for nice try. He got caught up there and just said, you know what, I'm going in. He's still out there. That water is freezing.
They're going to have to get a kayak or something out there. No one's lined into left field, a base hit.
It's just one of those games, if you're a pitcher, you do not want any part of it.
It's 13 runs on 19 hits now.
See what I'm saying about panic swing, though? I mean, that's just, it's
very
just
smooth.
so short.
Yep.
He doesn't get caught up with, big leg kicks or moving his hands around a whole lot. He gets his foot down early and doesn't try and do a whole lot. He will hit some homers, but they're, he'll capitalize on a pitcher's mistakes. That's what home runs are. And that was just a flat slider, a changeup right there, middle in and down.
Susac up for the first time. This is Buster Posey's spot in the order. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The game shouldn't be this easy.
No.
I mean, Ben, you have all these runs on 19 hits, and like you've been talking about, everything has been hit hard.
Even the singles. I mean, the line drives up the middle. Pagan's line drive up the middle. Duffy's hits up. They've all been hit hard.
And a strikeout for Gomez, 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ehire Adrianza is the batter now. Well, progress, I guess, going to a spot where maybe he can get out of McCovey's Cove. That might be. Is that a girl?
She's going to get hypothermia here in a minute.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is a girl. Jacket is off. There is a ponytail. Well, that person needs to get out of the water pretty soon, because as Ben said, that water's pretty cold. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Adrianza on the year hitting 111. Little dribbler foul.
My scorecard looks like a spring training card.
Got a lot of cross-outs on it.
Yeah. I don't like doing that. I really don't.
It's all part of the game, Ben.
I know, but
off the end of the bat, foul. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And honestly, yeah, I was looking forward to this matchup.
I guess that's where we were going at the beginning of the inning. You're right.
Yeah, and yeah, Bumgarner's good. But I honestly, and I'm not trying to sound like a homer, I love watching Cole Hamels pitch. I love it because he makes hitters look silly. And he just, his windup is smooth. I just like everything about it. He just didn't have it tonight. From that aspect, it's frustrating. Obviously, it's very frustrating for him and the ball club, but hopefully that'll help.
Oh no, an inhaler too. I think.
She probably brought a change of clothes. She'll be fine.
Because she anticipated that she would be diving into McCovey Cove for a ball. No balls and 1 strike. Gene Machi is getting a chance to bat here. It's a pretty big rip. 0-2. And a strike 3 called. So 3 straight strikeouts for Gomez, but 2 more runs score on the 2-run home run by Joe Panik. pretty easy swing. It takes a couple hops and a skip and a stumble into McCovey Cove. I don't know if it was worth it, but we'll find out. Where health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com. 13-12, the Giants on top of the Phillies. 13 runs on 19 base hits. Time now for a Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Right here, Matt Duffy laying out for this ball, and Cesar Hernandez gets up, fires one across the diamond to Brandon Belt at first base. And that is your Hyundai defensive play of the game.
I really thought that Jeff Halleckman, our producer, was going to have the ball going into McCovey Cove as our defensive play of the game. Sometimes they're good plays, sometimes they're not so good plays, or in this case, sometimes there's good decisions or not so good decisions. Dominic Brown leads it off here in the top of the 8th inning.
The bottom line is the fan got the ball
and is out of McCovey Cove. This is during the break. As Ben said, everything will be fine because there's a change of clothes. Dominic lines it into right field, a base hit to lead off the 8th inning. Brown's second hit of the night. And Freddie Galvis is coming up. Galvis is 1 hit in 3 at bats. Phillies now with double digits in hits. Fly ball right field, not deep, way up there.
Way up there.
And Blanco grabs it for the first out here in the 8th inning. Back to first goes Brown, and Odubel Herrera will be the hitter. Well, another sellout here at AT&T Park. It is sellout number 371 in a row. 3 World Championships, I would think, helps keep the folks coming.
It's a beautiful park, and the team has had a lot of success.
This area is really built up around here too since the ballpark opened. Now they're scheduled to build a basketball arena too, close to this spot. There's Hector Neris warming up in the pen.
And that will be where the Golden State Warriors play?
Yeah. the defending world champion Golden State Warriors. 2 balls, no strikes. On the outside corner, tough pitch, and it's 2-1.
Odubel very jumpy on that pitch. I don't know what he thought he was going to get. 2-0, down 13-2.
Probably going to get a lot of fastballs.
Well, his feet were so quick, just
You're right.
flying at the ball. I don't understand that.
Ground ball to second. That might be 2. There's 1, and that ends the inning. 4-6-3 double play. Phillies get a base hit. They don't leave anybody. We will leave for the bottom of the 8th. Slug your way to the Home Run Derby crown and master the free award-winning game millions are playing. Download MLB.com Home Run Derby free on the App Store and Google Play. Bottom of the 8th inning. It's 13-2. Giants on top. And Brandon Belt will lead things off against Hector Neris. Phillies will have to make a roster move for tomorrow's ball game. Whether it's Neris or Severino Gonzalez. Neris has done a nice job in his couple of games since being brought back up. One ball, one strike.
This will be the 3rd straight ball game he's been in.
Yeah, he's shown a good fastball. 94 is what he topped out at Dodger Stadium. Overall, 5th ball game. And the liner out toward left field. That'll drop for a hit, and Belt's on his way to getting an extra base hit. It's his 2nd double of the night. And he's in scoring position here in the 8th.
This is unbelievable.
th hit for the Giants.
David Buchanan's hoping that they get everything out of their system tonight.
Yeah.
Last game with 20 more hits, June 28th, 2013. First, those Dodgers we just saw.
Ground ball past the diving Maikel Franco down the left field line. Another run will score. Pulling into second is Maxwell, who has a single, 2 doubles, and a triple in tonight's ball game. hits for the Giants, the most ever at AT&T Park.
Justin Maxwell starting this game at 202, bumping his average up now to 218. The 4-hit performance.
Well, here's Gregor Blanco. And Blanco takes low and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blanco struck out in his only at bat, so he's 0 for 1. That was in the 6th inning. Two-two pitch. Outside, 3-2.
Where would you say the majority of these fans come from? The city or all around, or
I would say
all around.
Parking
around here.
Yeah, I would say all around. It was a great idea to put the ballpark where they have put it. That's why I think the basketball arena will be such a success, even though the folks in Oakland hate to see them leave. Football facility is about 90 minutes away, a little less than 90 minutes away in Santa Clara. Angel Pagan will be the batter. Pagan has 3 hits in this game, 3 runs scored, a couple of RBIs. Giants with 14 runs on 21 hits. The 21 hits, the most they've ever picked up here at AT&T Park. That one works the outside corner. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Elvis Araujo is warming up in the pen. That one's out toward center field. Odubel Herrera comes sprinting in to make the catch. And there's one away. The most hits for the Giants since coming to San Francisco was 27 back in June of 1990. And Joe Panik's coming up. He hit a 2-run home run his last time up. It's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. Brought to you by St. Joseph's University. Already one major comeback in baseball today. The Twins entered the 9th inning, trailing the Tigers 6-1, but they rallied to score 7 runs in the 9th inning. The big blow, a 3-run home run by Brian Dozier to walk it off. So one major comeback. I mean, who knows? It could happen, I guess. Also in the All-Star voting today, Mike Moustakas of the Royals and Carlos Martinez of the Cardinals are your final 2 vote getters. They will be headed to Cincinnati on Tuesday. And one final note, Garrett Cole of the Pirates, they beat the Cardinals today. He got win number 13. He is the first one in Major League Baseball, first starting pitcher in Major League Baseball to get to 13 wins this season. He is also headed to Cincinnati on Tuesday. That's your Major League Notebook presented by St. Joe's University. Guys?
Well, I mean, Bruce Bochy's going to have a decision to make. Who is his starting pitcher for the All-Star game? Garrett Cole, 13 wins. It's difficult to overlook that. We talked about it last night. It's also difficult to overlook Zach Greinke's Major League leading ERA.
Can't lose either way, but that's a big honor for a starting pitcher. I say Greinke.
What about Bumgarner?
No.
Outside, and it's 3-1.
Who do you say?
I say Greinke.
I think the ERA is bottom line the most important stat for a pitcher.
And Scherzer, if Scherzer wasn't pitching Sunday, I would probably say Scherzer, but he's pitching Sunday. Off the end of the bat, Revere froze for a moment. He comes in. It's going to drop for a base hit. Maxwell's on his way around third, heading for home, even though Roberto Kelly put the stop sign up. It'll be an RBI single. Joe Panik has 3 RBIs. He has 4 hits tonight. 15-2. Giants on top. Roberto Kelly did put the stop sign up.
Either he picked it up too late or just decided he was past the point of no return. If you're running that hard, he did have a good read on the ball. But with only 1 out. You know, at the time it's 14-2.
Joe Panik has raised his average to .313 with his 4 hits tonight. 22 hits for the Giants, 5 away from the most they've ever had since moving to San Francisco. I mean, this is getting kind of ridiculous now. Well, some would say getting ? Inside to Duffy, 1-0. 17 runs, 32 hits. And on paper, we all were like, wow, it's going to be Bumgarner against Hamels.
Crisp 2.5-hour game.
Crisp game. It's going to be a pitcher's duel.
There's 2 different sides to look at. Roberto Kelly saying, well, I didn't want to run up the score. You know, that is Joe Panik's RBI. Now, Hector Neris is still trying to get guys out. You know, it's such a fine line. You can debate it to your, you know, it's just, I don't know. I think when it comes to runs scored, you could, you know, if you think the guy has a good read on it, send him. I have no problem with that. You know, I don't think that the managing staff, the coaching staff, even the players of the Phillies are like, hey, you know, these guys are just, they're still out there doing their job. They're not supposed to just lay down because they have a giant lead.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would sit there and say, get the guy out. I mean, it's 22 hits.
Yeah.
That young man's ready. He's ready.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Fly ball to right field. Dominic Brown will put it away, and there are 2 outs. And Andrew Susac will be the hitter. He struck out in his only plate appearance. That was in the 7th. Got him. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Side is retired. 2 more runs score. 22 hits overall for the Giants. We go to the top of the 9th inning. 15-2. Mason deliveries of the game. 3 different Giants hitters have 4 hits tonight. Hunter Pence, he had 4 RBIs on 1 big swing.
And that was the biggest blow of the game off Cole Hamels there. It's supposed to be a fastball in, out over the plate. Deposit in right field for a grand slam. Joe Panic. And then that guy. That young man decided that ball is worth more than my health. And they are your WB Mason deliveries of the game.
22 hits overall for the San Francisco Giants. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Yusmeiro Petit will be the new pitcher for the Giants. 23rd game for Petit. He's 1-1 with a 4.50 ERA. He'll face Cesar Hernandez to start it off. Cesar pulls it toward right field. Blanco comes in, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 set aside. There's been a lot of that tonight. I wonder what Pete will do with Cesar tomorrow as far as being the leadoff hitter or not. He said that he wants to get a look at him batting leadoff.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how you don't stick with Ben Revere right now. I mean, Ben with a walk, 2 singles tonight.
Yeah, I think tonight he thought with the left-hander on the mounds, he did not want to, because the Phillies bench was Ashe, Howard, and Herrera. He didn't want to have to potentially late in the game have 2 lefties in a row. That's why Revere was put to the 2-hole. But I agree with you. I think, you know, if you're looking at what Ben has done, he's got 2 hits here tonight. And he's used to being the leadoff hitter.
He's used to it. He is faster. Steal you more bags.
No balls, 2 strikes to him. Tomorrow we'll be on the air at 10 o'clock. First pitch is a little earlier, though. David Buchanan will be on the hill against Kutztown's own Ryan Vogelsong. Did you talk to Vogelsong today?
I did.
0-2 pitch.
Such a nice guy.
Oh, you're not going to rip him tomorrow?
Absolutely not.
He is a great guy.
He said he's going to try and stay in this game a little bit longer than his last outing, which was Sunday night. He got ejected. I believe it was the 4th inning.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
No, he wasn't.
Swing and a miss. Revere is struck out, so 2 away. Susac will just flip it over to Belt at first. Yeah, now Maikel Franco. Phillies managed 10 hits here tonight. After the final out, get a full recap on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. Marshall Harris and Ricky Bottalico.
These boys are
standing by.
They are raring to go, Tommy.
Franco's 0 for 3. Over to third. Duffy is up with it. And the ball game is mercifully over with for the Phillies. So 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning. The Phils continue to struggle on this road trip. They have reached 60 losses on the year with tonight's setback. Giants offense, it's really hard to find one guy, whether it be Hunter Pence, whether it be Joe Panik, to really pinpoint as our Chevrolet player of the game. So we're going to go with the entire offense. They were 11 for 21 with runners in scoring position coming into this game. They were 2 for 11 on the homestands. Hunter Pence's grand slam was a big part of the success tonight for the Giants. Duffy, who you see right there, he had 4 hits. Panik had 4 hits in this ball game. It was a drubbing for the Giants over the Phillies here at AT&T Park. Final score, it's the Giants 15, the Phillies 2. We'll come back to quickly wrap it up right up to this.